Ethan doesn't remember, because he is just a game player who has possessed this body. What you said to me when you first dubbed me as a guardian. Although I cannot become the emperor, I will definitely become the most handsome man in the world. So as my guardian, you must also become the most handsome knight in the world. Even though I was just a child at that time, your words deeply touched my heart. I still remember them until now. So I believe you. Things have turned out this way. Will you still believe me? Whenever. But the conversation wasn't finished. Lucas was trapped under the rubble. After some effort, Ethan rescued Lucas. He is well aware that Lucas is the protagonist of this world. He will bring redemption to this world. So he must not fall here. But for now, it is more important to control the situation on the battlefield. After searching for a while, he found the soldiers and the mana cannon. Although these people all fainted, fortunately, none of them suffered fatal injuries. However, Ethan is very curious. Why is he still alive? Where did those spiders go? Your Highness, I finally waited for you. I blocked all these spiders for you. We haven't lost yet, right? Ethan just tried to go over, but was stopped by Lily. I can't hold on for much longer, but I can temporarily block the entrance. The attacking spiders will soon break through the wall and flood in. We don't have much time left. Please speed up. At least don't let us die in vain. Ethan can only grit his teeth at the moment and prevent the tears from flowing out. Artillery. What are you still waiting for? Load the last shell. But Your Highness, I have already told you before. The durability of the cannon has already exceeded the critical point. It will explode the moment it is fired. Anyway, if we continue like this, we will be pierced by the spider's claws. It's better to fight to the death than to sit and wait for death. How do you plan to aim? We can't see at all. And there's no view to aim at the queen. The cannon's mount is also completely smashed. The cannon can be carried by hand. We don't need to aim. Just have Dennis fire the cannonball. Quickly go and load the final cannonball. This is an order. Although Ethan does not understand the principle of clairvoyance, now he has no choice but to believe in it. Dennis, this is the last chance. Just launch one more time. Please try one more time. His Royal Highness the Prince, what is the meaning of us doing this? Anyway, no matter what I do, the results will not change. Just one more hit from you, and that monster will be eliminated. I'm not talking about that. Even if I pull the trigger again and destroy the Spider Queen, what difference will it make? As a mage, Lily blocked all the spiders for the survivors. She built a towering wall of hope with her own body. But Ethan didn't expect it at this critical moment. Dennis's belief completely collapsed. He doesn't know the meaning of everything he has done. My friend is no longer there. No matter how I avenge, he will not come back. No matter how hard I try, the world will only take everything away from me. I don't want to continue. I don't want to live like this anymore. I want to be by Ben's side. Dennis, do you think this world is unreasonable? Even if you fight desperately to get through the crisis in front of you, do you still feel that living is a very painful thing? Don't be silly. This is just a matter of course. If this world has difficulty levels, then it must be at the hell level. Here is full of unreasonable and outrageous things. Nothing develops according to our wishes. But this is the world. Do you think everyone doesn't know? We live in such a desolate environment. Just because of this, do we have to give up attacking? You choose to give up and leave beautifully. Take a good look around you. We must attack until the end of our lives. I will continue to fight. I will keep thinking and struggling until the last moment of life. If you want to let go and leave, then use this sword now to resolve it yourself. But if you are a coward without the courage to end it yourself, then be my trigger. Stop looking for friends who are no longer here. The person who can get you moving. Having your master is enough. Stop giving yourself more meaning in life. You are the cannon in my chess game. The gun in my hand. My trigger. That's enough. At this moment, Ethan awakened his passive skill, the Indomitable Commander. This is an order. My trigger. Go grab that damn cannon. Blow up those damn monsters. His Royal Highness the Prince will obey your command. The last cannonball has been loaded, but there is no way to let the barrel cool down now. If it can't cool down, then don't cool it down. I'll lift it. The cannon is extremely hot to the touch. If you come into direct contact with it, it will definitely not be a regular burn. Compared to going to hell after death, it's better to be alive and burned. Dennis, are you ready? His Royal Highness the Prince, I can't see ahead. It doesn't matter. My hand is numb. It doesn't matter. I will lift the cannon for you. All you have to do is pull the trigger. Go quickly and help your Highness. People who survived like this lifted up the burning hope. But at this moment, the spider attacking the city broke through the city wall. Dennis, pull down this damn trigger for me. With everyone's efforts, the final hope was launched. The shell flew straight towards the distance. At this moment, the spiders have surrounded the survivors. But all they can do now is pray. After all, this is something that is fundamentally impossible to accomplish. Firing shells at invisible enemies under the collapsing battery. However, the shells accurately hit the Spider Queen. Ignoring height. Ignoring distance. Ignoring the countless monsters blocking the view. It's as if the predetermined outcome is replaying. The shell hit the Spider Queen's forehead precisely. It cleanly took off her head. With the efforts of everyone, the last shell successfully hit the Spider Queen's head. In his dying moments, Ethan remembered his very first fan. You are amazing, bro. How did you pass the level? His mind is now a blur. He can't remember how he responded to him at that time. The next second, a sharp pain brought Ethan's consciousness back to reality. His Royal Highness the Prince, you should take a period of rest first. Although Dennis has used magic to treat you, your burns are very severe, so it will take a long time to fully recover. You have been sleeping for 3 days and 3 nights. I thought you would never wake up. I can't believe we actually survived. It's all thanks to your blessings. After the Queen was defeated, the Spider Army stopped in place. His Royal Highness the Prince, we did it. We won. The reinforcements who arrived will recover the bodies of our troops. The stopped spiders have been dealt with as well. We're almost done with the cleanup now. Your injuries this time are quite severe. When we get back to Crossroad, you'll need to visit the temple for sure. Even if you fully recover, it's likely that there will still be many scars left. Scars are nothing compared to one's life. Lily, how are you? How severe are your injuries? At the moment when my magic was depleted, a spider scratched my back. It may have injured the nerves in my lower back, so I can't move my lower body. However, Your Highness, you don't need to worry about me. I'm already very happy to be alive. Survivors include 5 artillerymen. There are also Lucas, Dennis, you, and me. That's all. You should know that before the last battle, there were still hundreds of people left. So Ethan regrets a lot. If he hadn't treated it as a tutorial in the game back then. If he could have thought of a better way carefully. Could he have given these people a little more hope of survival? His Royal Highness the Prince, you don't have to blame yourself too much. You are not a god. In that situation, it was impossible to save everyone. You did your best. But it was I who brought the troops here in the first place. No one expected that the monsters would move on such a large scale again after decades. In this situation, you still led us to win this battle. So I hope you don't blame yourself anymore. Just at that moment, Lucas suddenly opened the door and came in. Your Highness, it's so good that you have woken up. Is there anywhere on your body that doesn't feel well? I will go get Dennis right away. You must be badly injured as well. Is it really okay for you to walk around like this? You know, I am a strong guy originally. During this period, I also made a list of sacrificed personnel. Although the bodies of some people have not been found yet, the bodies that can be recovered have all been processed. Take me to have a look. The two of them quickly stopped Ethan upon hearing this. They sacrificed themselves because of my command. I have to go. Lucas, come here and help me. And that's how Lucas carried Ethan to the edge of the city wall. Here they met someone unexpected. The two of them didn't expect Dennis to be standing here alone in a daze. His Royal Highness the Prince, you're finally awake. How are your eyes? I'm fine now. Since yesterday, I have slowly been able to see things more clearly. Now my vision has almost returned to normal. You should know that all the wounded here are treated by Dennis. This means that he is using restorative magic in invisible circumstances. A young man who used to give up at the slightest setback. After experiencing this life-and-death battle, his young face showed a maturity that did not belong to his age. During Ethan's 3 days of unconsciousness, he treated the injuries of all the soldiers while he was invisible. Ethan is well aware that he has suffered a lot in this battle. Thanks to you, this operation was successful. If you are willing, I can give you unlimited money, and I will never make you appear on the battlefield again in the future. Originally, you were a mercenary, but now you are free. His Royal Highness the Prince, did you not say before that I am the gun in your hand? And I want to know the origin of those monsters. Why do they create those monsters? I don't want anyone else to die in front of me like Ben. So please let me stay by your side. So from now on, you have to follow me. Because a priest is needed at the place for mourning the dead. Now looking back carefully, there may have been no better battle plan than the one at that time. And it's already in the past. There is no need to dwell on other possibilities. Since a choice has been made, one must accept the result. What Ethan can do is to shoulder this pressure and continue moving forward. After the simple funeral ends, all bodies will be recovered and transported. Tens of thousands of deceased appear at Crossroad every year. Their lives are not even worth as much as the funeral. To the west of Crossroad, there is an empty space. I plan to bury everyone there and mourn them, and designate the last day of February each year as a day to mourn their sacrifice. Ethan's doing so is not only for these people, but also for those who have played the game hundreds of times during his repetition. All the characters he ended the lives of, without an ounce of guilt. This is a form of redemption for the player classical enthusiast. Lucas, I will not fail a second time. I absolutely will not fail a second time. It's getting late. We should also go back. Return to our base camp. Crossroad was escorted by supporting troops like this. Everyone embarked on the journey back. After staying on the carriage for 3 days, Ethan finally couldn't hold it anymore. How far is Lucas from Crossroad now? His answer has never changed in these 3 days. Your Highness, we will be there soon. Please wait a little longer. Due to being too bored, Ethan began to check his system panel. Although this character's attributes are extremely poor, fortunately, after reaching level 5, you can choose your own profession. Moreover, all professions in this game can be selected. However, Ethan discovered a profession that he had never seen before. He was very curious about the characteristics of this profession. In the last battle, he obtained a passive skill, Indomitable Commander. This skill can help friendly units within a 10-meter radius become immune to mental abnormal status. Although the effect is very good, it is ineffective in the early stages because mental abnormal magic is something that only appears in the later stages. Just as he hesitated whether to choose the commander profession. Your Highness, we can already see the crossroad. Ethan looked out the window. A massive fortress suddenly appeared before his eyes. Thousands of people die in this city every year. Their lives. It's not even worth a funeral. This is the fortress built at the southern tip of the world. Crossroad built this fortress to stop the monsters coming out of the Black Lake. Although it was once the largest fortress of the Empire, the number of monster attacks has gradually decreased. The Imperial Army has been sent elsewhere, and those vacant positions have been filled by an assortment of mercenaries. Due to rapid development in recent years here, people no longer call it a fortress. Instead, They call it Monster Frontline. And for those mercenaries who value money as their life, this is a dead end. A city built on graves. This is humanity's final line of defense. The crossroad here is much larger than the fortress Ethan saw in the game. At the same time, it also has a prosperity that does not match its size. However, no matter what, Ethan's current identity is the lord of this place. But as the lord, he returned to his own territory. However, he was not welcomed by the residents. Even people kept pointing and gossiping at the carriage. In their eyes, Ethan was a lord who abandoned all soldiers and fled back in disgrace. But Ethan also knew very well, it is impossible to change their thoughts just by words alone. So he was actually prepared before he came back. Now the carriage is loaded with magic stones of Black Widow spiders. Because Black Widow spiders have a high level, even those who don't know much can tell that these are valuable. Due to the magic stones, Ethan won't worry about financial issues during this time. And, in order to ensure the smooth progress of the game, his relationship with the citizens is also very important. Ethan happens to know the method to increase the favorability of the citizens. That is to use shiny gold coins to fill the emptiness in the hearts of the citizens. The carriage arrived at Lord Crossroads' mansion soon. You have worked hard on this journey, Lucas. With Lucas's support, Ethan got off the carriage. But he was soon startled by the luxurious mansion in front of him. This is totally different from where he used to live. Just then, a figure pushed open the gate and ran out. It's great that you returned safely, Lord. Ethan is very curious. Who is the person coming out to greet him? It turns out he is Ide, an NPC who manages the city in the game. All administrative matters in Crossroad must be resolved through him. I, this humble subject, have been worried about you all along. What should I do if there are scars on your delicate body? I have prepared a hot bath for you. Dinner is also ready. Please rest well today. Ethan was instantly mesmerized by the luxurious decoration. Lucas, you go tell the soldiers to rest as well. And don't think too much, go back and rest well. But I still need to protect you. Not today. Rest well, and protect me tomorrow after you've rested. Under Ide's leadership, Ethan arrived at the bathroom. Ever since he crossed over, Ethan has hardly had a good rest. So he is ready to take this opportunity to relax. Speaking of which, you are really amazing, Lord. Oh, my mistake. I should address you as classical enthusiast. This NPC Ide has a treacherous look on his face. Actually recognized Ethan as a time traveler at the first moment. You're really good at it. Classical enthusiast player. Ethan stopped his actions for a moment. I really didn't expect you to use that method to pass the tutorial. Completely beyond my expectations. How would you know these things? Are you a damn guy? Yes, I am the director of the game Guardian Empire. Ide. Before the words finish. Ethan's fist had already landed on his face before the words finished. Because Ethan had crossed into the game world right after receiving his message. Classical enthusiast player. You calm down first. I'm sorry to invite you here suddenly. This world needs you to save it. But before he could finish speaking, Ethan had already pounced on him. Before long, Ide was kneeling on the ground with a swollen nose and bruised face. Let me organize it now. You said you were the director who messaged me at that time. You are really the supervisor of this game. Wait. The director of this world. Then why did you bring me here? Because this world has a real ending. It is the only one. An ending that no one can achieve. And in order to achieve that ending, I reset this world countless times. But I have never succeeded even once. So I started to seek help from others. The scene in front of the two people began to change as I transformed this world into the form of a game. Then I showed it to players from other worlds. Those players explored new possibilities in ways I had not thought of. It's a pity that no one achieved the true ending. I'm the same. I had no idea such a thing existed. Although you did not achieve the true ending. But you have completed a great feat that no one else can accomplish. So far, only you have completed the Hell Ironman mode. Based on my assessment, you have the highest chance of success among all players. That's why I invited you here. That's clearly a kidnapping. And you made me possess this guy's body. It's actually a bug. I didn't expect things to turn out like this either. In any case, if you can achieve a true resolution, I will reward you. I am a classical enthusiast player. I will fulfill one of your wishes. If you inquire about my identity, in fact, my existence is similar to a god in this world. So when you return to your original world, it's not difficult for me to offer you generous gifts. Anything is fine. Can you give me 10 billion in cash too? Just 10 billion. 100 billion is not a problem. Although its words now sound like pie in the sky. But Ethan does indeed have a lot of things he wants to achieve. It should be said, it is a wish that must be fulfilled. Aren't you supposed to have a wish you want to fulfill? And it's a wish more important than money. A dream that you once thought was impossible to achieve. So you gave up on it, right? Until now, Ethan only knew that I'd called himself over after a thorough understanding. He knew that Ethan was regretting something. He also knew that Ethan had been carrying that regret with him in life. I can help you achieve that dream. That dream has long since ended. Since it is still in your heart, it means that dream has not failed yet. It is still waiting for you there. If Ethan can complete the true ending of this world, he will be able to obtain everything he desires from Ide. But Ethan is curious. If Ide has this ability, why doesn't he solve it himself? It turns out that Ide now has many limitations. In this world, he is just an ordinary human. That's why he seeks help from players in other worlds. However, if Ethan fails halfway through, he will die in this world. This is a real world, so you should remember that you only live once. After all, having completed the Hell Ironman mode, Ethan knows a thing or two about this kind of thing. If you want to go back to Earth now, I can also send you back. Actually, when I first invited you here, I wanted to ask you this question. But because of what happened later, I never had the opportunity. Please make a choice. Do you want to challenge and reach the true ending, getting the chance to fulfill your wishes? Or do you want to go back to a peaceful and stable daily life that won't threaten your life? Classical enthusiast player. I will follow your choice. Although Ethan really wants to go back, now the opportunity to achieve his dream is right in front of him. Plus, he has also completed the Hell Ironman mode, which is like him being omniscient in this world. So he feels that even if he clears the level again, it shouldn't be very difficult. It's just a small matter. Let me give it a try. I will take it seriously and make an effort to try. So you must help me well too. And don't forget, if you see the real ending, you must fulfill my wish. I certainly have no problem. You can treat me like a dog now if you want. Before tomorrow morning, go and sell all the magic stones of the black spiders. But it's almost evening now. The market should have closed. Let you do it, just do it quickly. No matter what method you use. I want to see the corresponding amount before dealing with official business tomorrow. But there are a total of 388 black spider magic stones. Even at market prices, that is still a large amount of money. What do you need so much money for? My team still lacks certain individuals, right? Of course, the money is for drawing cards. The next morning, Ethan arrived at the Mercenary Guild with Lucas. After I'd processed the magic stone yesterday, Ethan now has sufficient funds. So he decided to, today, start with a simple 100 draws. When the two arrived at the door of the Mercenary Guild, there was already a commotion inside. It looks like we're lucky this morning, Lucas. Ethan suddenly kicked open the door while saying that. As a dazzling sunlight shone into the room, all the mercenaries turned to look towards the doorway. Where did this brat come from? Do you not want to live anymore? Damn bastards. How dare you still glare at me? I am your future employer. It seems like you are the one who doesn't want to live. The crowd quickly recognized him. The man in front of them was none other than the famous third prince Ethan, who paid no attention to the people's gaze. He was carefully looking for suitable talents. In this game, there are 4 rarities for characters, ranging from N to SSR. The higher the rarity, the stronger the character will be. Just then, Ethan saw a person shining with a purple light. His Royal Highness the Prince welcomes you to the Crossroad branch of the Mercenary Guild on the mainland. The man raised 10 carts of gold bars overnight. He only came to the Mercenary Guild for 100 consecutive draws. I didn't expect that. As soon as he entered, he encountered an SR character. Mercenary. Can you tell me your name? My name is Julia. It's an honor to meet you. I have never seen the military uniform you are wearing. Where is it from? It is the military uniform of the Ebibal Empire. It's a style from decades ago, so it's normal that you haven't seen it before. It seems that you were a soldier in the Empire. I have been in the military for 30 years. I once served as the captain of the 2nd Squad of the Imperial Magic Corps. After retiring, I have been making a living as a mercenary until now. After retiring, continuing to dedicate oneself to the Empire is truly a good example of a soldier. It's not just for the Empire, but also because relying solely on a retired soldier's pension would make life very tight financially. You have digressed a bit. Your Highness, do you have any specific business coming here? Do you have any other reasons for coming to the Mercenary Guild? Of course, I am here to hire powerful mercenaries. Your Highness, aren't you here to buy human shields to sacrifice for you? Upon hearing this, Lucas immediately drew his sword. However, he was stopped by Ethan. The news of your Highness's victory in the frontline base war has already spread far and wide. You seem to have paid a considerable price for your first fierce battle. We do indeed conduct business for money, but we are not fools who dig our own graves. We don't want to follow a commander who is still immature and give up our own lives. That makes sense. But aren't you here to sell your lives? Because you have no other choice but to sell your lives. And now you are telling me that you are afraid of losing your life. Also said that she is not a fool digging her own grave. Julia. Those words sound a bit strange, don't they? Even though your resume is very dazzling. But the reason you retired, is it not because you were caught sneaking around behind the military's back? What is the difference between your actions and digging your own grave? From military corruption to smuggling with enemy countries, you were discovered and then driven out of the army. To the point of doing this, you even dared to wear military uniform. You got really thick skin, Julia. Incarnation of corruption. A retiree with all military achievements wiped out, a disgrace. However, as a combatant, her strength is unquestionable. Known as the heroine among women, lightning sorcerer Julia. Although the results were not perfect, I am proud that I was once a soldier of the Empire. Please be mindful of your words. I want to ask you a question. How much is your pride worth? How much money would it take for you to become my hunting dog? Although I may look ordinary, my value is very high. I now have 100,000 yuan a year. 200,000. I will give you double that, 200,000. Maybe this is a considerable amount for a mercenary's annual salary. But for the third prince of the empire, it's not even worth mentioning. If you can buy SR with money, Ethan is willing to spend as much money as possible. I will purchase your fear of death. I will pay you double your annual salary in one go. Cowards who don't want to risk their lives, leave quickly. But if there are true mercenaries who want to make a big profit, then you guys come to the open space west of Crossroad tonight. The man faced ridicule and sarcasm as soon as he arrived at the mercenary guild. But he not only wasn't angry, he even wanted to offer the mercenaries double pay. If you have real mercenaries who want to make a big profit, then come to the empty space west of Crossroad tonight. After all this, Ethan arrived at the temple and received treatment from the saintess. The treatment is over, but there will still be faint scars left on his body. The saint who treated him is none other than the R-ranked hero, the ultimate healer Mary. If certain conditions are met in the future, you can invite her to join the team. However, Ethan did not come this time with that purpose. Let's stick to what we agreed on before. I have called all the priests who currently have no tasks. Dennis has been assigned here by Ethan since he came back. Let's go then. There are still many things to do today, and it will be a busy day. On this evening, the coffin convoy departed from the forward base. They arrived at the west side of Crossroad. Some people's bodies will forever rest here, and some people will forever remain on the battlefield. Methodically increasing soldiers, and the Empire's national flag draped over each coffin. Also a large-scale choir. Such formal funerals are rarely seen in this city. The most striking thing is the compensation for the families of the deceased. People who were shocked by the amounts continued to discuss the matter. Eventually, this matter spread completely among the citizens. Ethan had no intention of packaging this matter. This is just a show. A very reasonable show. Ethan wants them to know. Fighting on the front lines here should be considered a noble mission dedicated to humanity. Let's be clear from the beginning. In the future, everyone may also sacrifice on the front lines. This graveyard not only has new graves appearing every week, but also echoes with the singing of a choir. But I have to tell you all, your sacrifices are more costly than survival. All funeral expenses and compensation for the deceased add up to a significant amount. Only this time, Ethan will invest half of the funds from selling magic stones into it. Therefore, death cannot become lowly and common. I will do my best to keep you all alive. No matter what methods are used, I will save you all and let you charge at the front line. So please don't fall easily either. You must come to me alive to collect your salary. And not let me use this money for your funerals. That's how Ethan's speech ended. He didn't care how the citizens would perceive the speech. Perhaps they would see it as the excuses of an incompetent commander or the extravagance of a mad lord. But none of it mattered. Because in this place, no one was more capable than him. Ethan knew. It's time to move on to clearing scene 1 now. That evening, he brought Lucas to the backyard of the Crossroad Manor. Ethan didn't hesitate and activated the portal immediately. A bunch of scattered rocks floated into the air one by one. The next second, a magical portal appeared in front of the two of them. Your Highness, what is this? This is a portal that can lead to the underground city beneath the lake. This is also the place that allows free access to the enemy's stronghold. The men were holding a funeral for the fallen soldiers just a second ago. The next second, he is going to lead Lucas to the monster's headquarters. But Ethan is not a spy sent by the monsters to infiltrate the human camp. Instead, it's because Guardian Empire is a game that combines two different gameplay styles. The scenes where monsters surge toward the crossroad are tower defense levels. When the enemies are not attacking, exploring the dungeons to uncover the monster's origins is the attack on the dungeons. Ethan recalled all the experiences after arriving here. Although everything didn't go smoothly, it was actually a pretty good start. He not only has Dennis, who can be called a cheating character, but also Julia, who is an SR wide area attacker. Plus, he also has enough money in his hands. It can be said that he has never had such a wonderful start. Ethan explained the rules to Lucas and told him that they were going to scout the enemy's situation next. Your Highness, I understand everything you said. But looking at Lucas like this, Ethan actually has some doubts. He has been serving the prince for his whole life, and suddenly his temperament changed drastically. He also seemed familiar with the city they just arrived in, and knew all about the existence of underground dungeons. Obviously, all these things are very suspicious, but Lucas has been quietly following Ethan all along. Lucas, don't you have anything to ask me? Lucas' expression suddenly became serious upon hearing this. Ethan was also very worried that he wouldn't be able to answer his question. I will act according to your instructions without any questions. I am both your sword and your shield. So I will only follow your orders. Attack and withstand danger. Ethan knows very well that Lucas must have doubts in his heart. But the meaning of what he just said was to tell Ethan that even if he has doubts in his heart, he will still believe in Ethan. Very well. Lucas, are you ready to enter the cave of hell with me? As long as it's with you. I'm willing to go to the depths of hell with you. And so Ethan chose the only destination. Lakefront Pier. With a dazzling light flashing by, the two disappeared on the spot. The stones that were exuding magic just a moment ago have returned to their original state. When the two reappeared, they had already arrived in front of a lake. The black lake water in front of them is the source of the monsters, a hell releasing nightmares. It is also an underground city located at the southern end of the world. At this moment, a change occurred in the lake water. A passage suddenly appeared on the previously calm lake surface. Shortly after, hands started reaching out from the ground. The next enemy. It turns out to be these ghost knights. Ethan was completely panicked when he saw this scene in front of him. He had thought about various monsters that might appear in Scene 1. Even if the enemy is a flying dragon, he can accept it. But among all the enemies, the one he least wants to face is the Ghost Knight. So, those guys are the monsters we need to stop this time. At that moment, the system sent a warning. They are about to face 1,000 Ghost Knights and one unidentified enemy. Lucas also noticed the changes in Ethan beside him. Your Highness, are you okay? Is there something uncomfortable with your complexion? Little did you know that Ethan had already anticipated what was going to happen next. Crossroad is really in big trouble this time. Even if the enemy is the powerful flying dragon, Ethan will not have the slightest fear either. But the enemy happens to be a large number of Ghost Knights. In the previous game, Ethan would reset the game without hesitation whenever encountering a Ghost Knight in Scene 1. The Ghost Knight is a monster composed of armor, with the undead spirit residing inside the armor. They have very high resistance to physical attacks. Even from the mid-game onwards, it is easy to resist them with a variety of equipment. But the current situation is that they have almost no equipment to block Ghost Knight. Ethan seemed to sense some malice, a feeling that someone was deliberately trying to hinder him. And there are only 3 days left until Scene 1 starts. Let's go back first. Lucas and the others can only try all possible preventive methods now. After returning to the mansion, Ethan immediately asked about the military situation in the city from Ide. A total of 526 troops can be sent to the front lines. Most of the troops have already been lost in the tutorial. Additionally, there are no remaining troops available to reinforce the city. Then send messengers to other cities to borrow troops. Pay them double the standard weekly salary. You also need to send messengers to the royal family in our country. Inform them that the monsters are starting to stir. We must apply for the maximum number of reinforcements. My lord, are you sure you want to do this? If we apply for support from the Empire now, in the future, a deadly scenario will arise. That's a matter for the future. We must survive now. Also, go bring all the craftsmen and alchemists in the city here. But in that case, the work of processing the magic stones will be paused. The city is about to be destroyed. Is processing magic stones more important than this? Capture them all. Ethan realizes the difficulty of this world. It may be even more challenging than the games he has played before. Although he hasn't made up his mind yet, there is no time left for him to consider now. The more difficult the game is, the more important it is to create new variables. Therefore, Ethan decided to take a gamble. Choosing to transfer to the commander system, it was almost the first time that the system congratulated Ethan. But the next second, Ethan felt that there was something wrong with his body. Ethan's growth rate for ability values has decreased by 50%. Not only that, his proficiency with equipment has also decreased by 50%. At that moment, Ethan could hardly believe his eyes. He didn't understand why such a negative career option would arise. But the next second, a series of pop-up windows made him calm down. After changing to become a commander, he can provide buff effects to all friendly units. Even if Ethan is just standing on the battlefield, he can still increase the offensive and defensive capabilities of friendly units at the same time. In this way, Ethan can understand why negative effects occur. Not only that, Commander's exclusive career system will also provide additional ability values based on the team member's career composition. For someone like Ethan, who used to be a gamer, this can be considered the best career. However, things did not always go smoothly. Do you want me to explain to you what happened? Because no one responded to your call for volunteers. So I had to urgently bring all the responsible persons here. The man cleared the most difficult mode of the game and won the prize. It turned out to be a profession with negative effects. But Ethan, who obtained this profession, was extremely excited. This profession can be adjusted according to the team's lineup, providing different enhancements for team members. Even if Ethan does nothing, as long as he is on the battlefield, he can provide buffs for all friendly forces. But he didn't expect I'd stab him in the back again. It turns out that the call issued by Ethan did not appeal to the craftsman. So I'd had to